Hello, I'm Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. I wrote an affirmation. It's called the Ranter's Creed. I dedicate that affirmation to all of you who are watching. Nothing can stand in your way because you are an unstoppable force. Your challenges crumble in your presence because you are so strong. Your insecurities no longer have power over your life because you are so confident. Your mistakes are your choices, and you are okay with this because you are so intelligent. The mirror and the scale no longer haunt you because you are so beautiful. You can face any circumstance with unwavering support because you are so loved. The demons of your past can no longer torment you because you love yourself. All things are possible as long as you believe because God is on your side. You will achieve all of your goals, not if, but when, because you have no boundaries. You are the champion of your story because you do whatever it takes to win. No one can take what you've done away from you because you are the author and the hero of your story. Arise, champion. The victory is yours. Because you are enough. It's Saturday, it's weigh-in day, and today is the best day to change the rest of your life. Yeah, Saturday, Ranting Weight Watcher Live. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you guys enjoy the show I got for you today. We're not going to waste any time. Let's get into this. So today's weigh-in day, and I stepped on the scale. I am down 0.2. So this translates to about 3 ounces. So there's nothing like working hard for 7 straight days, putting in the work, doing what's required in life, and then stepping on the scale on Saturday morning and losing 3 ounces. Whoo, man, 3 ounces, you know. It is what it is, though, because you know what? We got 200 pounds to lose, or I want to get to 200, I should say. And there's plenty of work to do, so it doesn't matter that this is only a 3-ounce loss. We just keep going. That's what's important. So for the month of December, because it's the first weigh-in, we're down 3 ounces. And total, since January 2019, we are down 138.2. The pounds remaining to get to our first goal of the 150-pound milestone is 11.8 pounds away. The pounds remaining to get to our 175-pound milestone is 36.8 pounds away. And the pounds remaining to get to our final goal, or the reevaluation goal, I should call it, is to lose 200 pounds and then reevaluate my life up to then, is 61.8 pounds away. So yeah, not a bad week, but not a great week either, you know. You can't ask for more. A loss is a loss in the end, you know, because no matter what, as long as we see results, we keep going. And as long as we have goals, we keep going, because there's not going to be, every week is not going to have a good result. Okay? Some weeks are not going to give you the results you want, and we got to keep going regardless of what the results give us. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about Weight Watchers and what, you know, what it has done for me. Here I am approaching January 12th, 2022 will be my 3-year anniversary on Weight Watchers. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit of the things that, you know, Weight Watchers has taught me in my time of being on Weight Watchers. One of the biggest things it's taught me is really what a true portion size looks like. Because it's not, I mean, everybody could tell you, oh, it's the, you know, it's the size of your palm and all this stuff. And it's not until you really start weighing and measuring that you really start to recognize, wow, what I thought and what is in the plate are really different things. You know what I mean? And it is definitely a valuable lesson, I should say, because when you realize when you realize the value of what goes in your mouth, never mind, you know, points wise, because with Weight Watchers, we'll get into that a little bit later, of how Weight Watchers deals with the nutritional facts of a food item. But everything has calories. And when you realize how much calories for how much portion, it's truly an eye-opener of what you've been doing to yourself, especially when you're starting for the first time in your life to make good choices. Okay? So the way Weight Watchers handles it is, instead of giving you calories and everything else of all these values, it takes all of these values, fat content, saturated fat, all these things, it wraps them all up into one number. And that number is a personal points value, it's called. Okay? So everybody's plan is a bit different from each other. And so you have a food item, and you can, if it's something you buy in the store, let's say it's yogurt, right? And it has a barcode. The Weight Watchers app has something where you could zap the barcode and it gives that food item a point value. So now everybody has a daily point value. So it's like a bank account, right? So let's say you have $20 in your pocket and you know, I got to eat all day long for $20. And for breakfast, you use 5. So that means you got 15 left. And for lunch, you use 5. That means you got 10 left for dinner. And that's basically, in a nutshell, how Weight Watchers works. Every food item has a point value, and you spend your points on whatever food items you choose. Now, if you make bad choices, obviously those food items are going to be much more expensive, and you will go through your points very quickly. And if you make good choices, those food items are less expensive, and sometimes they're 0. So they give you free 0-point items. Now, you still have to control portion size with those, and you have to use common sense a little bit. But this is where the learning aspect comes in Weight Watchers, because there's nowhere I can't eat. Okay. The one thing I could tell you about Weight Watchers is I don't care where you put me. Give me a few minutes to look at the menu and make some educated choices, and I'll be able to eat in any given situation. Stick me in a party, and when I find out what's being served at this party, I will be able to make the educated choices necessary to navigate that party and come out a winner at the end of that party. And so that the point I'm trying to make here is, so the point values of everything being zero, some of them being zero and everything else, enables you to navigate life in a normal way. If you normally eat, say, you have a big party at the end of the night, okay? And you know that you have X amount of points per day. If you concentrate on eating 0-point food items, you will be able to navigate the day properly. Now, what are 0-point food items? Particularly for me, the plan gave me, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but vegetables are probably 0 for everyone. For some people, fruit is 0. Now, again, portion control comes into effect here. That's where you have to actually learn portion control. Grilled chicken and lean proteins are 0 points for me. And cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, fat-free yogurt are 0 points for me as well. Again, with all of these things comes portion control, because you can eat too much of these 0-point items, and you have to be careful. You have to be mindful as to what you're doing on this journey. And everybody has a learning curve. There's going to be a time period of learning your metabolism, number one, how much of this stuff you actually burn, and balancing out what is the right amount of food for you. Okay. And so it also taught me how to balance between good and bad choices. Because I haven't stopped making the bad choices in life. Because it is the extreme changes in that sense that cause people to yo-yo and go up and down. Okay? We don't want to yo-yo anymore. We want to go in a straight line, and we want our life, the work we put into our health, to be consistent and always straight, regardless of what's going on in life, regardless of what circumstances we are handed in life. We want our health to go perfectly straight. Okay? And the wild choices of eliminating things from your life only cause up and down fluctuations, because you won't want to give away the things you're going to give up are going to be the things you love the most. Okay? And don't get me wrong, there's sacrifice in everything we do. Okay? But the real thing is to find the balance so that you can still have those things and still live a healthy lifestyle. Finding balance between good and bad choices is essential in what Weight Watchers teaches you. Okay? And that's what it has taught me. I realized really quickly that nothing was really off limits. For instance, let me tell you a funny story. When I first started Weight Watchers, we realized, how to work a system. And if we wanted to do something like, say, on a Saturday night, if we wanted to eat pizza for dinner, we knew that if we tracked pizza in the dinner slot first, we would know what we needed to do for the rest of the day, eating wise. And if we wanted to concentrate on, feeling full, we would eat 0-point items for breakfast and lunch And this way, when we got to dinner, there was enough points available to have the pizza we desired. And so this is how we approached our journey, me and my wife. And so we'd get on a Saturday night, we'd say, okay, pizza night. Okay. And we'd order the pizza, we'd eat the pizza. There'd always be pizza left over. And every Sunday, family would come over. This is like pre-COVID and stuff like that. Family'd come over for dinner, Sunday dinner, Italian family, you know, you have your pasta, you have your chicken cutlets and all these things. But family would come over. And my wife, as a appetizer, whatever pizza was left over, she would put it in the oven, you know, heat it up nice, cut it up in small pieces, like handheld little bite-sized pieces. And this way it would be like an appetizer. She'd put it on the table. And so my mother-in-law would come over and she would say, but you guys are supposed to be on Weight Watchers. You can eat that? You can eat pizza? Like, yeah, you can eat pizza. Part of the plan. Pizza has a point value, just like eggs, just like grilled chicken, just like everything else. Pizza has a point value, even down to the size of the pizza. I mean, 16-inch, an 18-inch, a 14-inch, they all have a point value for a slice of pizza. Is that point value 100% accurate? Who knows? Who knows? But it's good enough to get you 90 some odd percent of the way there, and you make a good choice for yourself and still have the pizza. But anyway, so the weeks went on. And every Sunday, she would ask the same question, my mother-in-law. You could eat that? You could eat that? So here we are. So we go from January to August 2019. And August comes and I got my milestone. I reached 50 pounds lost. And I was so proud of myself. I got this, you know, Weight Watchers gives you a little charm to represent hitting a milestone. So when I got that 50-pound charm, I was very proud of myself and everything else like that. So that Saturday night, we went out, we had pizza. We brought the pizza home or whatever. We either ordered in or went out, whatever it was. And that next day, we served the leftovers, you know, made the little appetizers just like my wife always does. And this time, my mother-in-law brought a friend with her. And so we're all sitting at the table. And so I'm just waiting. I'm waiting again for the question like, oh my God, you can eat that? But instead, the question came from my mother-in-law's friend. You can eat that on Weight Watchers? And so before I could even answer, before I could make a reply, my mother-in-law chimes in. And she's like, oh, yeah, he lost 50 pounds eating pizza on Weight Watchers. And I mean, it's not entirely true, but it is true because it's what I did. It was how I worked the plan to fit pizza into my life still. I did not have to let go of things that I loved, and I still dropped 50 pounds. And mind you, the first 50 pounds I lost on Weight Watchers was with zero exercise. I started at 396 pounds, and I couldn't really move. My knee was so, my right knee, I have tremendous arthritis. And being 396 pounds with an arthritic knee, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to move and do exercise like that. So I lost the first 50 pounds on plan just making good food choices and working the plan within what rules Weight Watchers gave me. Because there's core values of every weight loss plan. And if you follow the core values of every weight loss plan, whatever one you decide, you will lose weight. It also, Weight Watchers helped me to realize also that it's not the most important thing in the whole journey is working on your mindset. It was not necessarily eating right and exercise. So number one in my life became whatever quirks were causing me to stumble. I had to work on those. If they were mindset related, they had to be done first, because there was no getting around that fact. And like, okay, so one of the biggest things I had to battle in my beginning was getting so hung up on the scale result at the end of the week. So I'd show up on Saturday into the Weight Watcher studio, and I would get on that scale, and they would give me a number. And if that number, God forbid, if it didn't go down at all, if it stayed the same, or if it was a gain, it ruined my weekend. My whole weekend shot, because I couldn't handle the fact that I gained. My attitude towards people, towards everything else, I was aggravated for the weekend. And it came to the point where, as I got more and more mature, and as I got more regulated in what I ate, when I ate it, how I ate it, how much I ate of it, I started to learn, hey, listen, you're doing the work. Just keep doing it. And it wasn't really until I hit the 50-pound mark that I realized how much work was truly going to be required of me to get to 200. How much work. And I slowly incremented exercise into my life. And I didn't, because I realized when I hit the 50-pound mark, it was one thing I realized, that there was no way I was going to get to 100 without introducing exercise into my life. There was no way I was getting to 100. Absolutely no way. So I decided to start small and work my way up to a exercise regimen that I felt comfortable with. And that's exactly what I did. And that also helped me mature. And because I knew I was doing everything the right way. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm just going to keep going. I could stop everything today and go right back to doing what I was doing before, and go right back to 396, and if not more. I could do all that. It's very easy to go back to your old life. Very easy to, say, hey, forget about everything, and just go back to gaining weight, So instead, I just kept going. And because of my confidence in what I was doing, the mindset started to correct itself. All of a sudden, I'm going to the, if I had a gain at the studio, they would say, oh, you went up a pound or whatever. I'd say, okay. And I go right back to work, because I knew there was plenty of work to do to get to 200. It doesn't really matter. None of it really matters. The weekly results only matter as data points. Do I need to make adjustments? And then I went through this whole phase of making adjustments all the time. And I realized that wasn't good. I had to create consistency even in my adjustments. So I made rules for myself. I'd say, I'm not going to make any adjustments unless I have 3 gains in a row. So basically, and you know how crazy it feels to allow yourself to watch the scale go up for 3 weeks in a row and not do anything. So until the 3rd week, then have plans in place to make a change for that week. And that's what I did. And that's what I do to this day. I don't make any moves because I'm so regimented with how I do everything, and I have so much confidence in my work. I don't make any moves until there are 3 gains in a row. I have implemented that my entire life. Well, not my entire, most of my journey I've implemented. And that also helped my mindset. Once I decided what good choice foods I loved, I stuck to those things. I made a meal for breakfast, a meal for lunch, and a meal for dinner that I would love and I would have confidence that were good choices. And this way, making my life easier to stick to if I want to. So Sunday through Friday, I'm so unbelievably regimented in everything I do that it's the same all the time. Really, the only wild card is Saturday night dinner. We decide to say Saturday night dinner for us is okay to make bad choices and use what we call activity points, because the same as you use points to get food with Weight Watchers, when you go exercise, you create points. And if you want to use those points for special nights out or whatever, you can enable yourself to use those points. And this is also part of the mindset transformation that happens, because it helps to eliminate shame and guilt for the bad choices if you know you put in the work for those bad choices. And it also teaches you the true value of when you're making a bad choice. If I want a cheeseburger, if I want a bacon cheeseburger, and I see how much point value it is to have a bacon cheeseburger from whatever restaurant. And I know when I went for my 2-hour walk on Saturday morning, I earned X amount of points. And now I can compare that directly to the bacon cheeseburger. Okay, so now I know how much work, how hard I worked versus how much points is, and it teaches you like, wow, that's how much work it takes to burn off the bacon cheeseburger, or that wasn't enough work, and now you're starting to think, hey, maybe it's not worth the bacon cheeseburger. You know? So what if you want to start, let's say you're thinking about it now. You're hearing me for the last couple of weeks, and now you're thinking in your head, maybe I want to start a healthy lifestyle. Maybe I want to choose Weight Watchers. What does it take? What does it take to really get started? I mean, it doesn't really, it doesn't, on the membership side, it doesn't take much at all. It's the same as subscribing to Netflix or anything like that. You go to a website, you sign up for a plan, and you attend tutorial sessions on how to use the app, blah, blah, blah. But on the home front, what does it take? If you're married and, you decide to do this together with your spouse, then it takes a unified front of, okay, let's get this straight. Let's figure out how to work this plan to best fit our life, how we do things. And if you're doing this on your own, the same rules apply. You got to figure out how to work this plan in the way you live your life. Now, does it require big lifestyle changes? Sometimes. I guess it depends on how you're currently living your life, right? So the one piece of advice I'd give you is do your own research and make your choice. Consult with your doctor. See what the doctor would say about, because your doctor knows your health history, okay? People who have had cholesterol problems their entire lives, if the doctor tells you, oh yeah, sure, it's okay to do keto, maybe you should find another doctor, because the way of keto is going to elevate cholesterol because it's concentrated on consuming as much fat as possible to put yourself into this. It puts your body into this fat burning mode because of how much fat you're taking in. And people with cholesterol problems, high blood pressure problems, could cause even more problems in their life if they don't seek a doctor before joining something like keto, where Weight Watchers is a balanced approach to weight loss. So if you talk to your doctor and say, hey, what do you think about Weight Watchers? Or, I'm thinking about this or whatever. And he tells you, hey, go for it. And you at least, going in, That's the one opinion besides your own and your spouse's that's important. Nobody else's opinions are important. Not even mine. Doesn't matter. Nobody else's opinions are important. And the one thing I would say to you is keep your mouth shut. Because if you start to tell people what you're doing, you tend to realize in life how many people in your life there are that are just waiting for you to fail so they can feel good about themselves. And I mean, it's sad to talk like that. It's really sad to talk like that, but I'm talking to you from experience here. Because there's plenty of people in my life that even still, I'm 138 pounds down, they're waiting for me to fail. They're waiting for me to go back to my old ways. And this is this is what, how do I want to say this? This is what made me realize, you know, who is for me and who is against me in my life. Okay? So everything starts with the doctor's opinion that's the advice I would give you. What do they feel about what you're choosing to do? And then it would go from there. It would be how you live your life, and is what you're trying to do sustainable for your life? And most of all, let your work doing the talk. Let your work do the talking for you. Don't tell anyone what you're doing. Just do the work, because the results will then come on their own. And people will start to notice, say, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? And then you could tell them if you want to at that point. But don't tell them ahead of time. It'll save you a lot of headache, because there's plenty of people that will argue with how any weight loss program, forget about Weight Watchers for a second, but any weight loss program, there's always going to be people who aren't on that weight loss program with opinions of how it works. And unless they've tried it, they don't truly know. And when I started in January 2019, keto was on the table of something for me to try. But it became the question, is it sustainable? Is it something I can do for the rest of my life? Is it something I can do for the rest of my life? Or am I going to just end up back in my old ways because I feel like I'm deprived? In the end, we chose Weight Watchers because my job had an awesome benefit. In my health benefits, we had something that would pay for health programs $500 a year per member. So when it translates to the cost of how much Weight Watchers is, I only pay for 1 month out of the year for Weight Watchers. My job pays for the rest of them, and that's for both me and my wife. So December just hit. I'm paying for the month of December. The rest of the year was on my job. And it's beautiful. And it also really eliminated a big excuse in my life. When you come to the end of your excuses, that's when you go from I can't to I can. That's what it really comes down to. Now, in my process here of going through my journey, I wrote something I call the rules for success. Are these scientific? No, they're not. These are just what I experienced and what I felt helped out. And I wrote them as a list. And if you want, you can go to therantingweightwatcher.com and you could download a PDF copy of the rules for success, pin it on your refrigerator, and, look at them every day so your mind is in the right place. But number one, in the rules for success, there's no such thing as luck. There's only work. There's those willing to do it and those unwilling to do it. If you put in the work, the luck is what everyone else will call what you do to achieve the success you've achieved. Let them call it luck, but you call it work. and do what's required. The second rule is follow the core values of any plan. Whatever weight loss plan you choose, follow the core values. Find out what they are and follow them. And don't doubt them. Don't pick and choose what you're going to follow. Weight Watchers had 3 core values when I started: tracking, weighing and measuring, and moving. They have now added sleep to that, which I am working on. I am not a good sleeper, but it's something I'm working on. But that was their core values: tracking, weighing and measuring, and moving. Don't skip any of these core values and then blame the system for your lack of success. Number 3, whatever you don't want to do at any given moment is probably the one thing that is most important for you to do for your journey to get to the next level. So if you don't feel like going for a walk, that's the most important thing for you to do. If you don't feel like tracking, weighing, and measuring, that's the most important thing for you to do. Number 4, always challenge yourself. Always have goals. Celebrate your successes, but make them brief. Because becoming comfortable in your success could be more dangerous to your journey than anything you could possibly imagine. Be accountable. Number 5, be accountable regardless of how uncomfortable it may be to do so. Face the truth with dignity, even though the scale may go up. And that's what today, when I stood in front of this camera, I would have told you there was a gain. I would have told you there was a loss, regardless. I do it on my podcast every week, the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, new episodes every Friday. Always be accountable. Number 6, be consistent at all costs. Only make changes when trends dictate changes needed. One scale result doesn't reflect the overall journey. Too many changes won't result in necessary knowledge, the necessary knowledge needed to achieve the next level of your journey. Make one plan change at a time. Too many changes can hinder your analysis of what you're doing. Number 7, don't be a blind man in a round room searching for the corner. Educate yourself on everything related to what you're trying to do. It's the minor details that will propel you forward when things aren't measurably successful. If the scale isn't moving, it's these minute details that you could start paying attention to keep yourself engaged in what you're doing. Number 8, failing, making mistakes, and falling short are necessary parts of your journey. Each occurrence is just the next lesson you need to achieve success. Every time you fail, it doesn't mean you're no good. It means that this is the next thing you have to learn to do in order to get to the next level. Eliminating guilt and shame from your life are detrimental to what you're trying to do. Number 9, the transformation of your mindset is by far the most important thing you will need to accomplish on your journey. Defeating the demons of your past is tantamount to your success. Breaking the chains, become the person you were always meant to become, regardless of what you've done previously. At any given moment, you must be ready to sacrifice who you are in order to become who you were meant to be. And number 10, helping others will enable you to achieve levels of accountability you never knew possible. Solely because you will have no choice but to practice what you preach. Because being a hypocrite in what you're trying to do is easily exposed. Easily exposed. If you're telling everybody else how to lose weight and then you're not following it yourself, you're going to be an easy to see your lies and what you're not doing. So helping other people will also give you a level of accountability never knew possible. And those are the 10 things I learned in this weight loss journey. You know, the last thing I'll say to you is this. If you decide today, okay, that's it, I'm going to start a healthy lifestyle today, and without realizing it, at that point in your life, you're invoking something. You're invoking Murphy's Law on your life. Murphy's Law is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And it's not because the world is against you. It's because your resolve is being tested in that moment. And everything you said you're going to do is going to be tested beyond its measurability. It's going to be tested. Your resolve is going to be tested beyond breaking point, because when you decide to make good choices for your life, that's when life comes at you full force, and embrace failure, because until you embrace failure, you will never achieve success in what you're trying to do, because failure is the teacher. It's not the bad thing in your life that you think it is. It is the teacher necessary to make you successful in what you're trying to do. Learn from failure and move forward. That's what's required. That's what you do. And when Murphy's Law comes knocking on your door, slam the door in his face and keep moving forward. Because in the end, it's all important. The only thing that's important is that you achieve what you're trying to do long term. These short-term goals I set for myself, they're just things to aim for. But I know the 200 is ahead. I know that if I had gained today, it doesn't matter, because I still have to get to 200. My feelings in that moment are so unnecessary and so unfounded, it does not matter. It does not matter that I'm angry that I didn't get a good scale result, because I still have 200 pounds to lose. And as long as that bottom line remains, I have to keep my eyes on it. It has to be there. It has to be something. It's so important for you to work on this, for you to achieve what you want to achieve. I can't make it important for you. You have to make it important to yourself. You have to tell the world, I don't care what you throw at me, I'm going to do it regardless. I'm standing here and I value myself. I love myself. I'm here to fight for me for the first time in my life, and I will succeed. I will not back down. I'm here until the end. And nothing's gonna stop me from getting to where I want to be. It all is up to you. It's all up to you in the end. This is the most important thing you'll ever do for yourself in the current world we live in. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.